Hello aspirants, welcome to Krishna Pradeep 21st Century IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about Anthropology Daily Mains Question Explanation presented by me, Mohan Benergy. So as part of the Anthropology program, we are conducting a test series schedule for 2024 mains consisting of 16 tests, 10 sectional tests and 6 comprehensive tests. After the completion of the test, model answer will be issued to the students. The question we are going to discuss is a linguistic anthropology for 10 marker. So any sub branches of anthropology given for 10 marker, the structure need to be followed is the same. Either it is the socio-cultural anthropology or physical anthropology or archaeological anthropology, the structure should be the same. So the structure includes a introduction, body and conclusion. So briefly you should mention about the branch which we are going to discuss, that is linguistic anthropology. So you should say that it is a subfield of anthropology, focuses on relationship between language and culture. And it also examines how language influences the social life, cultural practices and human communication. The body should include the scope, methods, anthropologists who are part of that discipline and applications in linguistic anthropology. And in the conclusion, you should write about linguistic anthropology is vital field that bridges gap between language and culture and provide insights into how language shapes and is shaped by social life. So these are the some brief conclusions. You can write it in the answer. So now we will discuss about the body. So it consisting of first one, you should write about the scope of linguistic anthropology. So in that you can write one dimension as language and identity. So all the time you need to remember that. So language is helpful in investigating, reflecting and construction of various social identities in the society. So for example, it may be the gender or it may be the class or it may be ethnicity. So these are considered to be different set of identities can be assessed or investigated, so with the help of language in linguistic anthropology. So next one is language and power. So here also we will try to examine how language is used to accept and exist power with respect to various social contexts. Next one is language and socialization. So in this language and socialization, so here we will take example as a children and how they are being socialized with the help of the language which is adopted by the family or the society based on the cultural norms. So that means language is helpful in the socialization of the children. That is studied in the linguistic anthropology. Next one is language change. So language change means here we will discuss about the how language evolved over a time. So in any of the society, so we will discuss about how language has been evolved over a time and at the same time what are the factors which are been influencing or driving the language change. So in some of the societies, the people are adopted to multiple languages, so the colloquial language can be formed in the society. Example, you can take Telangana. Telangana is having an influence of Urdu and the Telugu which was developed is different from that of Andhra Pradesh. So that's why language change can be analyzed in the linguistic anthropology. Next one is multilingualism and the language contact. So multilingualism means the people in the society learn multiple languages and they try to speak and influence each other. So when they have contacted one person to another person, then there is a possibility of arising multilingualism that can be analyzed in the linguistic anthropology. So next one is language and thought. So here there are some people who are linguistic anthropologists. So there can be Sapir and Wofor. So these people has set up an hypothesis. That hypothesis is famous to understand the language, shape, thought and perceptions. So that's why this language and thought is analyzed through this hypothesis that is famous with respect to the linguistic anthropology, and to analyze how the thoughts of the people have been emerged with respect to the language. And lastly, language documentation and revitalization. So there are many endangered languages, okay, endangered languages. They are been uh, they may be extinct in the near time. So that's why the governments around the world is trying to decode and digitalize the endangered languages and revive them. So this is also considered to be part of linguistic anthropology. So here there are many methods which are used in the linguistic anthropology, and different languages can be assessed. So here, what are the different types of methods used in linguistic anthropology? Is first one, ethnography. So ethnography gives you the detailed field work of an anthropologist, particularly with respect to the participant observer, to understand the language used by the people in their society, so or everyday life. So here ethnographic method is used to identify what is the language used by the people, and at the same time it is helpful in analyzing the day-to-day life of the people with the help of this ethnographic fieldwork. Next one is about interviews. So in the interviews, a constructed or structured interviews are being conducted, and there are some unstructured interviews are also there. So these interviews will give you the information on a language. So and what are the different types of practices followed by the people in different societies can be analyzed. And recent past, if you see, there are video and audio recordings of the people. So there are some distant societies are need to be analyzed. So in that case, some of the anthropologists are using audio and video recordings to study the culture and the language. Next, textual analysis. So it may be a written text, so which was being used by the anthropologist to study the language, and how the people are being communicated can be analyzed with the help of these textual references. Next one is comparative methods. So here there are different societies are there. So here what are the cultural elements will be identified and compare them. Here we will consider a language as a one of the means, and comparison of different cultures will give you the identity of people with respect to the language, and how they are being evolved can be analyzed through comparative studies. Next one is socio-linguistic surveys are there. So surveys are being collected, and accordingly quantitative data uh, is being on the languages, and accordingly we will try to analyze those surveys, and accordingly to understand the different communities, societies with respect to the language can be analyzed through these surveys. So these are some of the methodologies or the methods which are part of this linguistic anthropology. So next one is about a noted anthropologist in the linguistic anthropology is Edward Sapir, so Benjamin Lee Wolf, and as well as Del Heims. So as I said, so these two people have started an or explained an hypothesis to understand or to study the hypothesis to study the language, and this language is helpful in understanding the influence on the social and cultural context. So this is about the hypothesis, famous hypothesis in linguistic anthropology. So we will discuss what they have considered in the hypothesis as a separate question. So currently you remember these are considered to be the noted anthropologists who are part of linguistic anthropology. So next one is about the applications of linguistic anthropology. So here there are many applications. So with the help of linguistic anthropology, so we are trying to preserve the language and revitalize the endangered languages. So that is the advantage or the application where will we use linguistic anthropology. And with respect to the education, so there are informing language education policies and practices, especially in the multilingual and multicultural contexts. So that means there are some of the people who speak languages which are minority in nature. So in that case, so multilingual and multi cultural contexts are being emerged, and the problems of the minorities are being solved with the help of this linguistic anthropology. Next, healthcare and communications. So improving the communication between the health providers, so that is doctors and as well as patients. So how should be the communication need to be followed with respect to the health communication can be analyzed and suggested by the linguistic anthropologists for better communication. Next one is legal and forensic linguistics. So the legal terminology is not understandable by the common man. So here the linguistic anthropology try to facilitate the courtroom discussion, legal documents, and as well as it try to analyze the language used in the courts and legal contexts. So that's why in case of legal and forensic linguists, these cultural anthropologists are helpful for the commoners. Next, corporate communication. Also, this linguistic anthropology is used. Most of the time, this corporate communication is like cross-cultural communications. Across the world, we have to communicate the information. So that in that case, also linguistic anthropologist is very much helpful. And media and communication studies is also another area. So it will try to examine the language used by the media and as well as the politicians, so that the effective impact of them on the public opinion and the social change which are occurring in the society can be analyzed effectively with the help of linguistic anthropology. So these are the dimensions you need to understand with respect to the application. So thank you very much for all the people who have listened the class. So do subscribe and share. Thank you.